gotta grab something to eat. Yeah, I was trying to erase the. Oh shit! So you have another one scheduled for 9:10?
It's like doing weird stuff. We're on though. All right, guys. Sorry about that.
Is it the same stream?
I don't know if it's gonna start a new one or it keeps starting different ones. It won't let me back into the same stream. It's like, let me see if I can. Can I delete some of these while we're?
That's what I was trying to do. I can't do it from here.
All right, guys. Yeah, give us a second, guys. We're still working some of these kinks out. But we are back on. We'll get some people back in here.
It's good.
I don't know. It says we're live right now.
We are, but those other ones are gonna come. I don't know why those other ones. It should just like they should just delete themselves. Like it should be like, all right, he's live. Does it say we're back on?
I'm like trying so hard. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think so.
Guys, put something in the chat if you see us.
It says that we're on. We've been on for a minute already.
You guys, nah, you super chat did. Hey, Rich, we appreciate you, bro.
Rich.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rich.
He said that my super chat.
Yeah, I see it.
Shout out to Rich.
Nah, we're good, Rich. Thank you, man. All right, we're back, guys. We're back.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just this is session class number 2, so we're back.
I'm not sure if this is wise.
I see Rich right here, up here on the screen.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
I don't know why this is.
Yeah, it did some weird things.
Why is this coloration like this? What the fuck does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how the stream is coming up? Or?
No. Guys, give us a quick thumbs up in the chat if you can hear us and if the stream looks good.
I don't know what's with the.
Because we got like a discoloration.
All right. I think maybe it's going now.
There it is.
There we go.
She had it.
You just have to refresh it. There you go.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. I think we're good now. We're back.
Okay.
But shout out to homie Rich. Right?
Yeah, shout out to Rich. Shout out to Rich. All right. I think we're good. If you guys just join the one that says live, because there's probably like 2 up. All right, where were we?
We were on. She rated herself, so
Rated myself.
we asked where you were on a scale of 1 to 10.
And I said 7.
Okay,
Fair.
so that's where we are. All right, so the next thing is. Okay, so how much money does a guy need to earn in order to take you off of the market?
Okay. So I am not a woman that's too concerned with living the lavish and very superficial kind of lifestyle. I prefer a man to have other qualities such as like loyalty, respect, consideration, unconditional love, understanding, patience. So I've been put in a position currently, even with my relationship, and I've had, there was a point in time where he held me down for 6 months and I held him down for a certain amount of time for, let's say, I think it was like 5 months because he was going through something, and I was able to provide because I'm independent and I work, and we both work, but at that moment he wasn't. So I don't necessarily think that I put a financial bracket or this person has to have this certain. I think that if we can grow together, that would be ultimate for me. So it's not necessarily a money sign when I look at someone. I do feel that a person at this point in my life, since I'm 31, I would think that this person would have some sort of stability financially, some sort of goals that would attract me, definitely. I just don't think that I base it off the financial part.
I think let me comment though. I think that sometimes women say that, and I'm not denying that.
Right, I get that.
I'll say this: you wouldn't want a guy who has no ambition.
Right.
You wouldn't want a guy who's going to be broke for a long period of time.
Right.
You know, shout out to Kevin Samuels. He used to say, let's say you had a guy, he was making 30,000 or 40,000 a year, but that's all he was really ever going to make. Like, he had no intention of trying to be a manager. He was just going to make one static or very close to that range of money till he dies. Would that be a problem for you? Because there are a lot of guys that, you know, they're not interested in being bosses. They're not interested in growing. They're not interested, especially like in money.
Right.
So would that be, first I want to ask you, is that a problem for you if the guy kind of stays in that, he's just a steady Eddie, goes to work, comes home, same job?
Is he happy with his job?
Yeah, he's happy. Steady Eddie's just like, he goes to work, comes home, you know, he's just not interested in.
And I have all my boxes checked out where he's loyal, considerate, he's the ideal person for me. Yes, absolutely. I would not mind.
Okay, one more question after that. What if you out earned him eventually? So like, he's at 40 or 50, but now you're at like, I don't know, 80. You got a promotion or you got a new job, or better yet, hey honey, I got this job offer to move to California. Right now he has to leave his job, like, because that's what happens with the guy. It's like, honey, I got this, you gotta go.
Right.
So my first question is it a problem if you out earn him? And then what if you had to move and it meant potentially you would make more money?
So I think for the first question, I think it's based off of how the man would receive that. So if my significant other is gonna resent me for making more money than him, then definitely if that's gonna cause a drift, because it will be a constant battle, even silently or indirectly, because somehow he has that resentment inside of him. So I don't see that working if my significant other won't be able to receive that. Now, as far as moving and taking a job offer because it's going to benefit me financially,
Okay.
I think that would be circumstantial. I would speak to my significant other. If he agrees, then I think it would be the best idea to do that. If he disagrees, then I would have to consider and outweigh the things, the factors, I think.
So there would be no resentment on your end.
No.
If you made more
not.
money than him.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, that's interesting.
No.
Because a lot of women, I'm not gonna lump you in with
I
all, but a lot
understand.
of women would be like,
And I understand the way that you're saying it, because a lot of women do say certain things like this, and then they're like, oh, that's what I stand on, but that's not what they do. I'm really like the way that I express myself is based off experience, if that makes sense. So it's like that's something that I stand for, and that's something that I've done, and that's something that I don't mind doing, because at the end of the day, I don't think that, you know, a man making more money than me is going to make me happy. As long as he's able to provide, as long as he's happy within his lifestyle, within that, you know, frame of mind, if that's what makes him happy, I will always try to obviously better the situation, but it's whatever makes my significant other happy, and I would not resent the fact that I make more money than him. No.
Okay.
Rich with the 199 super chat, he said, okay, average kings, shoot your shot. So height, the guys that you've dated in the past have been what height? Like, what height is your boyfriend? What height is your ex-husband?
That's so funny. So my man is, I want to say 6'1", and my ex-husband's 5'9", 5'8".
Okay, all right.
Which, no, yeah, I would say my ex-husband is not my type. Truthfully, I think I kind of went for personality versus like what I am attracted to.
7 years.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, so you're attracted to taller guys, obviously.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's typical.
Yes.
I think most women would agree with that. If they're all women, right?
Yeah, I just like taller, and I also I enjoy like a guy that's not necessarily like super built and has like a six-pack. Like I'm so down for the dad bods.
Well, see,
super
okay,
cool
so
with
that too. So, you know, so the question for tonight is, can Western women prevent the spread of the passport bro? phenomenon. So, have you heard of this expression, passport bros?
I have not actually. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, so it's somewhat self-exclamatory, I guess, even though I don't really think anybody has a really good definition of it. I think it's a silly ass title to begin with. So I think either certain guys, want to subscribe to this group or whatever, even though I think it's 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 childish to me to want to put yourself in a group of other dudes that you don't even know and never met and what the hell they're doing. But whatever, these guys are young. Whoever's gonna call themselves a passport bro, I'm sorry, you guys got to be young. You got to be young in your head. If you're like, yeah, I'm a passport bro because I have a passport and I'm traveling to these other countries, to entertain the women. So I think what happens is, though, for the people who would identify with that term, what it is that the majority, if not the total reason for them traveling is woman driven. And not only is it woman driven, but if you're using that term, it's woman driven in the sense that the women in the West or in your own country are unsatisfactory.
So they go looking
Right,
elsewhere.
right. So let me try to explain it a little bit better. So the way I see it is there's different layers to this shit.
Right.
There's guys that are traveling to other countries for the women because it's exotic, it's interesting. They want to have a good time. They want to experience new cultures. They want to experience, good times with women that are completely different than what they're used to. So it's all, coming from the perspective of an explorer, living your life, sowing your royal oats, whatever. So it's adventurous. But then there's the guys that are traveling for women, but they're traveling for the negative connotation of the women in the West or wherever the hell they're from. So it's like both are going for women, but for different reasons. One's going for the positive of the women being interesting, new, and exciting, different, and the other people are going because the women are so bad where they're from. So I can understand both. I can relate to well, I can't relate to both because there's wonderful women right here in every country. Wherever that country is, there's good women there. It's just whether or not you can
Identify.
if you can create good experiences with those women, right? Some are harder than others, right? So in any event, but that's the only people I could see kind of associating themselves with that term intentionally, whereas men travel in general for multiple reasons. So the problem is the mainstream women, whoever, the people that are out of the loop that think they understand it are putting everybody in the same category, right? So last night we were asking the question of why are these guys preferring to date, marry, hook up with women from other countries? Whatever they're doing with the women, why are they preferring to do it with women outside of their country? And these are obviously the eligible men, the men that do have some money, that do have some options, that are making that choice. Because the women would say it's the guys that are desperate or the guys that can't get women here, and it doesn't really add up. Because if you have money to travel, then you got money to put yourself around women. Whether they genuinely like you or not, either way, you can put yourself around women if you have the money. So the question we're asking tonight is, can women, like, say yourself, right? But obviously collectively, can they prevent the spread of this phenomenon? In other words, we are where we are right now in 2023, but I guarantee you every year more and more young kids are going to be looking to do that when they're of age. So the guys that are 17, 18 now, they're looking at it and saying, I can't wait until I'm 25 or 26 and I can grab, my passport, work remotely and get the hell up out of here and go date women somewhere else because it's not working out. So they're already planning that. Just like there's girls that are 14, 15, 16 already saying, as soon as I turn 18, I'm going to open OnlyFans. So I'm looking at things from a deeper perspective. You know what I'm saying? We have to look at how this is affecting the youth.
Right.
Because when I talk to young guys that are teenagers and in their early 20s, their mindset is that they have no intention of dating, marrying, or having children with women here. Like already, they have no intention of it. They're like, marriage, I'm never getting married. It's like, you're too young to say you're never getting married. But that's already how they're thinking. And then when I talk to the young women in that age group, they're saying the same type of, shit. Like, like, oh, I don't want to be married. I don't ever want to be married. It's like, yo, you're 19. What do you mean you never want
Or
to be married?
you know what's another thing?
Oh, I don't ever want to have kids. It's like, what?
You know what's another thing I hear often? It's women saying, "Oh, I'm not giving men husband privileges if I'm just dating them." Then what's the point of dating?
Well, it's not what's the point of dating. It's what makes you think that you're going to withhold a certain type of behavior in exchange for that title. Like, you get that title by showing those qualities.
Exactly.
They don't hire you for a job if you don't show them that you're qualified. No dude marries a chick that doesn't show wife qualities. Why would he make you a wife if you're not showing wife qualities?
Exactly.
So the women are completely backwards on everything because they're already approaching the situation as if the men are their enemies, and the men need to somehow prove something to them, or somehow they decide. Like, somehow they're the boss, and it's whether or not the guy is good enough, or he deserves them, or deserves for them to be feminine, deserves for them to be cooperative, deserves for them to be submissive, or, like you said, husband privileges.
Right.
But it's kind of ridiculous, because if you're feminine, you need to be feminine 24/7.
Right.
You need to be feminine before you meet the guy. So how are you going to meet the guy and him behave the way that you need him to in order for you to be feminine? That's retarded. That's like a guy saying, I'll become successful when I meet the right woman. Wait, what?
Right.
You're not going to meet the right woman if you're not already successful.
That was the best example I've heard so far, yeah.
So these women have a very backwards way of thinking that just isn't going to work for them. And then they behave as if I'm trying to change their mind for my benefit.
No.
Like, I don't give a shit whether you understand what I'm saying or not. You're the one that's going to suffer because you're the one that expects to get this result with the strategy that's ass backwards. But then now the guys are taking on that type of mindset, which is, I guess, obviously a result of feminism.
Right.
If women keep being negative about men, eventually men are going to be negative about them.
Women, right.
So now you have the young guys acting as if the women are their enemies, and they would never marry them and have children with these women because they've seen what the last generation has done to their older brothers, their uncles, their dads, or whatever. So we're in a really tricky place. And when I see these guys traveling to these other countries, I already know what they're experiencing because it makes a good match. And I think a lot of women aren't taking that into consideration. They're looking at these guys going to these countries because supposedly they're going to be able to control these women. These women are submissive. These women are going to do whatever they're told, which is actually not true. And that's not even the attitude that the guys are going over there with. They're not going over there.
They're not even used to it. So it's like,
exactly. They're not even going over there thinking, I want to control you.
Right.
The irony is the men that are already over there are treating the women like that.
Right.
So what happens is when those foreign guys come over, those Canadian guys, those Australian guys, those English guys, those American guys come over, those women love those guys because those guys allow them to work, be independent, talk on the phone, have an Instagram. They don't slap them and put their hands on them.
Right.
So they prefer Western English-speaking guys. And then the guys are like, wow, she's so feminine, she's so submissive, she's so cooperative. So both of them are like, wow, this person is letting me live, letting me breathe, treating me the way I want to be treated, and I don't have to wrestle them for it. I don't have to fight them for it. I don't have to try to change their mind. That's already how they see it and behave, right?
Right.
So we're trying to understand, can women that want to have boyfriends here that are cooperating, are they going to be able to stop that movement?
Necessarily stop, not sure, but I can say that if you really do want to be able to, and again, right, like it depends on what motive the man wants to do that, but if we're talking about what you just asked me, right, in the sense of what women can do necessarily to help, in a sense, for men not to look elsewhere other than where they live, in other words. I think it's important to just be a little bit more respectful and let me start off here. I have to say, a lot of the issues that we're having nowadays is that women do not love themselves enough. They do not respect themselves enough or value themselves enough. I think somewhere along the lines, we've lost the concept of what that actually is. Not to say that or throw shade on anyone when they do OnlyFans or they do things that makes them money, makes them feel independent and happy, I guess. But are you really happy? Are you leaving a type of legacy for your, let's say, children, where you want your children to, would you want your children to follow your footsteps? I think a lot of the like things that weren't normal, right? Like I would say that you men both, it was like a big deal if you guys got a nude picture from a girl. It was like, oh wow,
Yeah,
you
back in
know.
the day.
And now you go on Instagram and it's like
They're everywhere.
you don't even gotta try to ask the chick you like, because you could just go on Instagram and there it's right there.
And even if she was gonna send you the nude with her busting it wide open, the thing is that same picture or one very similar is already on OnlyFans, so it's like,
yeah,
there's nothing special.
Exactly.
Nothing's reserved for the guy anymore.
Nothing, and there's no sense of imaginary, you know, like where you get that feeling of what if, or like, or I can't wait to see this person nude, or I can't wait to physically see her in a certain, or it's just like everything is just thrown out there. So my thing is, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of traditional, right? And traditional, by that what I mean is just take it back to just a little bit of self-respect, take it back to a little bit of, you know, also letting your man be the role of a man. I think that's where that's also like a problem within women. Like we want to be this alpha male, we want to be in control, we want to be able to say the last word, what I say goes, and if you don't like it, the next guy will just certainly do the job. And we have to stop looking at men as if they're disposable. Like
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well,
I don't think we're not live anymore.
Here's the thing. Here we are. Here's the thing. I think that Passport Bros has a bad connotation on it. I think that men have been doing this for a while. Guys who have been traveling, guys who in the military, right? Like, this is not a new thing. It's just they're putting a name on it called Passport Bros. But like, and we have social media, like you're saying, the OnlyFans, whatever. There was a point in which people were, we didn't have cell phones, so we couldn't, like, you know, to be advertised that we're going to these different places. So I think that there's nothing wrong with going out of the country and trying to find women or whatever
Absolutely
it is.
not.
But I think that there is
if you're escaping, I feel, right?
Exactly. But I do think that dating here, let me ask you, before your relationships with your current guy and then your ex-husband, would you say that dating was easy or was it hard?
I think when at that age I was 22, and it wasn't as hard as it is now, I would say. Just within that time frame, right? That was when I was 22 and I'm 31 now. Just within that time frame, I feel like if I were to leave my current boyfriend, and I just would have a heart attack trying to date.
Right. And I'll tell you, it's extremely difficult for men.
I agree. And I agree.
So I've been to you know, you guys check out the Mentuition channel, youtube.com/@mentuition. We're gonna start filtering a lot of the content over there at some point, but I have some videos from Medellin and going to, you know, other places, and I will say personally, for me, I'm not gonna say that there weren't girls there that were kind of difficult, but here it seems like it's a lot harder.
So what would you say that you feel is harder? Like what aspects are harder within that dating world?
So cold approach. Just approaching a woman, you have to, like, Allende is very good at it, but if you don't have any skill at doing, like, I think it's not that you can't find a good woman here, it's not that you can't get a woman here, it's not that you can't get sex, it's just it is a little bit harder. And if you don't have game, if you're not a guy that knows how to approach women, yeah, like, but what I'll say is, if I'm in Medellin and I pull up on a chick, like, they look at me like, oh, he's American. Like, you're already kind of cool because you're from. So here's another example: a guy here that's wearing a Star Wars shirt and talks like this, when his glasses like this, right? That maybe that's a nerd in Medellin, but like, it doesn't translate, right? Like, there's Asian guys. Asian guys are sort of, no offense to my Asian guys, but like, they're on the lowest on the totem pole of desired men, and they go to Medellin, and it's like, oh, they're pulling baddies, and it's not working girls on the streets. I mean, these are like hot chicks, and they're like, I don't care if he's Asian, right? So I'm basically trying to say that, like, it's
Big fish in a little pond kind of thing.
Right, exactly. I don't know why that keeps doing that.
Bro, it's not live. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not live. That's the same stream you're playing over and over again. It's only 15 minutes long. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
So we're not.
So I don't know. This is just pre-recording.
No.
There isn't. Go to YouTube. There's no video right now. It ended 24 minutes ago.
What is going on? It says it's streaming. Guys, let us know in the chat if you can hear us.
They're not. I'm telling you right now, the chat hasn't moved in 20 minutes.
Hold on. Chat.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck is going on.
I think it's YouTube, bro. Because hold on.
See, like, me and my man are so cool. Let me know when you're about to leave, mama. Like,
Who said that?
my man. Like, he's not the type of I'm telling you, like, the best thing to have in a relationship is just being able to be yourself. Like, when you can be yourself in that relationship, freedom, it's like the best glory that you can have within a relationship. It is literally what any woman or man should feel within a relationship. Being not even feeling 1 inch of having to like walk on eggshells because you know your woman's gonna react sideways because you want to tell her, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like
Guys, we're making sure the stream is
No, I'm telling you, man, it's just the stream's not up. You check it from your phone.
My phone was seeming to get it though for some reason.
It's what?
It's weird because it's.
but it's paying.
They're saying it's live. We live.
We live.
Guys, we're getting some weird thing going on. All right, can y'all give me a thumbs up again?
I'm not,
give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me.
Chat though. Let me see. Okay, this
God
is a
damn
thumbs
it.
up.
Yeah, we're live. JD41 says we're live.
All right, another
Thank
super
you,
chat
JD.
from the Tip Network.
My
Says,
man.
salute the little lady in the red.
Aw,
And my
thank
G's.
you.
That's what's up, Tip Network.
I appreciate that.
All right, we live. I don't know why we don't see it on our end, but all right,
It's doing something because they can see.
Fair enough. Next question. All right, so hold on. Let's see. We gotta turn it up a little bit.
Yeah,
y'all
caught that whole
Jesus
exchange we had. I'm
Christ.
like, there's no way they didn't catch all of that.
All right, did you ask her? Okay, you didn't ask her what her best date was yet, right?
Ooh.
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I did not. Okay. Can you describe your best date? The best date you've been on. We're very curious.
Truthfully, it's gonna sound so corny. The best date I've been on was when my current boyfriend actually he took me to the sex store.
Hey. Okay.
We had
Like where this is going.
Yeah, we had a really fun time at the sex store. Afterwards, we went to the beach, and like on the ride to the beach, he actually made me a playlist based off of like old school songs.
How does he do that and drive at the same time?
No,
You're
so
driving.
he made it prior.
Oh,
to
okay.
He probably could have added some along the way, but he made a playlist for me on the ride to the beach, and he legit just popped some champagne bottles, and we were just talking, and we were really just connecting without any
extra.
Yeah,
nothing
like no
external.
distraction, no nothing, no people, no. It was just him and I, as if that was the only thing. And I obviously after we went home, like the sex store came into play.
They used some toys.
Yeah,
hold on, two toys to use. Yes, sir.
Two things though. How old is this guy?
He's 33.
Oh, damn.
I'm 31.
Same age as you. And then, but where in the relationship did this take place? This was the beginning.
So the beginning of a relationship, it was actually I think 3 months into the relationship.
Okay. All right. No, some old school. That's some old school.
All right. So
techniques.
we got a curveball. It's not really a curveball. It's like a fastball.
Okay.
Describe your worst date that you've been on. Also with the same. No, was it a different guy? Or was it the same?
No. I mean, do you want me to
give us
put
the
my
worst.
boyfriend out there?
No. I mean, give us
no.
the worst ever.
Worst.
Yeah.
Worst. Oh, okay. He invited me out to dinner to this event. He was like this promoter type guy. Very well known in the industry. I met a couple people through him, celebrities, I guess. And then Then again, what do you expect from these? You know, like I guess somebody living that lavish, I guess, style or lifestyle. And I'm not lavish really because that does not mean that they're wealthy, but um, he legit just invited me to the event as his plus one, and forgot I was there.
Oh damn.
Was he with other girls?
To the point where his security guard was my date.
Damn.
Yeah.
But was he with other girls though?
He was just like out of his mind, not
Sounds
sober.
Like he might have been on drugs.
Yeah.
Drunk or on
He
drugs.
was.
or something.
He chose to do drugs in front of me as I was having a conversation with him, and like I kept telling him, hey, like, you know, don't leave me here, like I'm by myself, I don't know many people, like da da da, and he was kind of just all over the place.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was my worst day.
Guys, if you got any questions, man, just super chat them. If you got any particular questions for her, you know, so we don't got much more time left. So if you got questions for her, get it. It ain't gonna be last night. Is what I'm trying to tell you. We're not gonna be here for 3+ hours. So, so yeah, if you got any questions for her, get them out now. Because I know SB got a date. I got a date. She got a man to go home to. You already heard that. All right. So next one, let me throw this at you because you did get divorced. Right. So what do you think your biggest flaw is in the eyes of the men that you've dated? Is there anything that multiple guys you've dated have mentioned to you that's an issue?
I'm sorry, like mentioned to me, you said? Mm-hmm. That mentioned what particularly? I'm sorry.
Oh, that like a flaw that you have.
Or that I have.
Right, that they complained about, like that boyfriends have complained about.
That I'm too nice.
Really? Like too nice to them or too nice to
other
guys?
Too nice to anybody. That I'm just too nice and
like flirting, you mean, or like just...
No, yeah, it's to the point where it's like I'm too nice of a person where it can come off like I'm flirty, and then you know they're very, I guess at that point, overprotective because they know that I'm not coming from that place, right. But they get mad at the fact that other people will feel that. So what I get is, oh, I'm too nice and you're too gullible or something like that, which I'm not. But.
Well, I mean, I can understand that to an extent. I think what they're trying to say is you think it's just cool and friends or whatever, but these guys are trying to smash you.
But I know that. Right. I just know where to draw the line, and I think that's where I need to. That's where I need to have the floor and just be like, hey, look.
I think some guys are used to women that aren't that feminine, so they don't realize that that's how women handle that situation. They're just kind of like. Very nice about it, and think some guys are like, no, you're giving they think that your femininity is flirting when it's just
my personality.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So that could be tricky too.
And I've had guys tell me where it's like, oh, I thought you were flirting with me, but then I realized that you just treat everyone like this, and I'm like,
yeah, I mean,
okay.
yeah, I mean, I've been in plenty of situations where I'm like, I gotta tell myself, listen, I don't think this chick is feeling you. I think she's just nice. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I don't know if this chick wants the D or.
And it's like, well, would you rather me be a bitch then? Because most women are bitches. Is I'm really genuinely trying to connect with you on some cool level where it's like we can be cool people and we're just having a conversation. That doesn't necessarily mean I want to fuck you, though. That's for sure.
No, they definitely want you.
And does that mean just because, for example, right? So like I don't see myself like most see me. So most may see me and they may like, be like, oh, she's a redhead, she's hot, or she's pretty, she's cute, whatever case is. Would you say that just because I'm friendly and I'm pretty, that would mean automatically you feel that way that I'm flirting? Or but what if I was ugly, like, and I was friendly? Would you get that vibe? Same.
Well, I
don't think
would. They just wouldn't care because you're not their
so
girl.
Then it wouldn't even be a thought in your like mind, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. So we talk about the passport bros. We talk about guys traveling to go to other countries to meet women. What are your thoughts on women who travel? Women who may travel to different countries I really think when chicks travel, especially that Jamaican trip that they go on where they be getting the massages and all that, it's a little bit of going there for sex, but I don't think women travel to get husbands. But so two questions, a two-part question. What do you think about women who travel a lot? Does that mean they're, I don't know. I personally wouldn't date a woman who travels like a ton because in my brain, there's too much that could happen. And then the second part of the question is, do you know girls that travel for hooking up with guys.
For sure. So first part, what do I think
Passport
about?
girls.
Right, passport girls. I think it depends on, obviously, I think everything is situational, right? So it depends on what they're traveling for, but I don't think you should travel to the point where you're having issues within your relationship, as in you're gone for 6 months, or you're just, gone most of the year, more than being present with your, partner or whatnot. Now, second part, yes, I do know a lot, not a lot actually, but I do know of some girls that do travel to Dubai, for instance.
The old Dubai
Whenever
trip.
you see a girl post on Instagram that she's on Dubai, like at Dubai, then you know for a fact she got flued out, as they say.
Face is a porta party,
Right.
And they're gonna party all over you.
They're not going for the
skate all over.
And the sad part
Animals
is...
involved. Long lines of men waiting for their turn. Laxatives at dinner because they're going to relieve themselves all over your body.
Here's what I think is going to happen. I think when we're in our 50s or 60s or 70s, I think sex tourism for women is going to skyrocket. I think because women are
wealthy women that can afford it though.
What's going to happen is the lonely women who get in their 50s or 60s will have all this money saved up. It's actually going to be elder women, I think, that are going to be doing this more. So what's going to happen is women are going to travel to these, wherever. It might be Thailand, it might be the same places we go.
Right.
But it's going to be guys, like younger 21-year-old guys. Like they're going to be breeding like young men to have sex, and the women are going to have to pay, just like they're saying the passport bros are doing. That's what I think. Mark my words.
I mean, there's a slight part of that that I disagree with.
Right.
I think that's
it could happen.
That's what's going to happen, but it's not going to involve travel. There's a couple of reasons why it's not going to involve travel. So what's going to happen is it's going to happen, but it's going to happen locally. It's going to be the young studs that are going to be playing that role. They're going to enter that industry. And also traveling is going to be far more restricted than it already is, because we're going to have another lockdown. We're going to have another plandemic. We're going to have all kind of requirements in order to travel. So what's going to do is it's going to thin the herd of people that are eligible to travel. So all this shit that I'm telling you, write it down, because all my predictions have come true.
No, that's facts. So.
Day one of the lockdown, I told everybody in my family, all my closest friends, this is about a forced vax, and they all were like, "What are you talking about? What vax?" Months later, then they started mentioning a vax. Then months later after that, they started giving it out. And then I told people, do not take this. They took it anyway. And I'm just, listen, for the last 20 years, I've been warning people about things. And the problem is I give too much of the prediction has too much time on it. So people look at it and they say, that sounds crazy what you're saying. Yeah, because it's not going to happen for 10 years. Like, I'll give you guys some more. Meat is going to be outlawed. There's going to be no production of cattle. So only the wealthy are going to be able to afford meat. Write it down, because you're not going to see it now, but you'll see it by 2030. You'll be like, that guy Allende, the dude with the dreads on the hat, he was right. No shit. They're also going to take away personal owned cars. Cars are going to become shared property in the future. Again, you don't got to believe me now. Time goes fast. 10 years, 7 years from now, you'll say, I don't know how this guy was calling it so far ahead. So I even invested in that very concept. I put my money on that in the future there were going to be all these women with money, and that they were going to be spending it on young, attractive guys. So I started a business in Mexico with guys performing. So if you're not familiar with the concept, Magic Mike. I mean, that's the best way I could explain it to you. Mm-hmm. So I had a show that traveled to a different city in Mexico. Every weekend. It would be in a different city, and I'd go on a four city rotation. So I'd be in each city once a month, and I had my guys perform. Mm-hmm. So I knew that in the future that industry would continue to get bigger, because you're gonna have more single women, you're gonna have more independent women, you're gonna have more women earning their own money, but then finding themselves lonely. So they're gonna start going to the strip clubs the same way guys go to the strip clubs and spending their money to get the attention. Mm-hmm. So I made that investment early, knowing that in the future I'd be able to step away from it and just have people manage it for me. And I'd be able to expand it. I'd be able to do it in different countries and use guys that can only travel within that country. Or, for example, guys in Mexico don't have the visa to travel here. Mm-hmm. So what I was doing was using guys from Colombia, Brazil, Venezuela, and having them fly into Mexico and perform. That way they're taller, better looking guys. Shout out to all my Mexican guys, but Let's face it, women
You're not
think,
tall.
yeah, women think
Sorry.
Colombian and Brazilian guys are more attractive, right? What killed that business was the lockdown. COVID came, killed that business, and now they have all kind of restrictions in Mexico, and I don't even want to get involved in what I would have to do to still try to struggle with that type of business. Now I'm trying to do this type of business, right? So anyway, guys, there's going to be a lot of changes is the point. If you sit down and you really think history repeats itself, it's not really that hard to predict what direction we're going in. You just got to open your fucking eyes and stop listening to the narrative they're giving you and pay attention to the narrative that they're pushing for. We got a super chat here from Travel Tribe Raw. He says, there is no way modern women can prevent the inevitable, right? So I agree 100%. I don't think modern women collectively or individually are going to stop the progression of, the passport bros. It's not going to happen. That way of thinking is going to become more popular the same way that the feminist talking points have become so popular. What feminism did was they conditioned the women through academia. That's where they got these ideas to really set into women as they put it in the colleges and the universities.
How long do you think that will last?
Well, it's the damage is already done. They don't
Right,
have,
the
they don't, they don't
damage
have,
is done.
Right, they don't have to push feminism anymore. Feminism is just something they can maintain. They just make some little payments here and there, like an oil change, but it's already taken hold. And this is the thing: they put it in the colleges to brainwash these young women with it, and the women look at the college as some type of authority. That's why I was having the argument with this chick yesterday, and she thinks she knows about history because of what they told her in school.
Oh my God, stop.
So how naive can you be?
Why wasn't I here?
Because all you have to do is look at what they're teaching you at school, and then where are they getting it from? They're getting it from these textbooks.
Stop.
Okay.
You're not even getting any actual
So
history.
who greenlit these textbooks?
Oh yeah.
All right,
The
so all you gotta do is follow the money. Who paid for the school? Who paid for the textbooks? Who paid for the shit to get printed? And then you can start figuring out these people's agenda. Look at the groups that they're associated with.
I went to a private school. I paid for my education. Still the same.
No, it's still the same shit.
It's the same. Maybe the only thing I learned that a public school didn't was how to write a check. Pretty much.
Private school,
and religion,
public
because I went to a Catholic
is not
school,
about the curriculum being different.
But the curriculum, meaning, we don't really get the full information of history. We don't get the
word itself
truth.
just means what people want to tell you happened. Their version of what happened.
Right.
So the difference between public school and private school is not the information. It's the attention that's given to the individual. It's the structure and then the attention that's given to the individual. Basically, how much do they care whether or not you learn this stuff is the difference between private school and public school. Whether or not they're going to enforce these rules, there's going to be structures, they're going to be uniform, is there going to be more organization, are the teachers going to do more one-on-one time with the students, smaller classes? That's all that's about, right? But in everything that we have, all you got to do is follow the fucking money. So women go to Planned Parenthood, they get abortions. Now, when I try to tell women what Planned Parenthood really is trying to do, it's child sacrifice. They're tricking your dumb ass into killing your own children so that they can get the fetus material.
Right.
They can get these babies, right? Then the women will sit there and fight and argue this, but yet they have done no research. They have no idea what they're talking about. They don't know who started this organization. They don't know what organizations these people are part of. So again, all you have to do is just trace it back. Who paid for Planned Parenthood? All of these organizations, like the Rockefellers, right? The Bilderbergs, all these people.
That's where it really comes from, like who's supporting that.
Now, who started it? Margaret Singer. So she started it. This is her mission, and they funded it. And then when you follow those people into the group that they're in, they're eugenists. So what do these people do? These people determine how many people of whatever particular population, demographic, race, culture exist. They want to determine how many Mexicans are in Mexico. They want to determine how many black people are in America. So then you're going to try to tell me it's not about killing black babies, but the people who started it and funded it openly tell you that they don't want the black population to exceed X, right? But then I'll have some dumb broad that's had 3 abortions at 24 try to argue with me about whether or not abortion should be legal. You see what I'm trying to say?
With no knowledge or education about the situation, yeah.
So anyhow, I don't care how arrogant it sounds, until my predictions are wrong, until they're false and they don't come to fruition, I'm going to arrogantly say I can tell you what the fuck is going to happen. So to respond to his super chat that there's no way modern women are going to prevent the inevitable, I'm going to tell you right now where relationships are going. I'm going to give you an analogy to understand where male and female relationships are going. Back in the day, before we had cars, before we had automobiles, right? People rode horses. Follow me. People rode fucking horses. You had a horse. You didn't swap your horse out ever so often. That was your horse. It was a bond between you and your horse. You took care of your horse. Your horse was loyal. It got you to where you needed to go. Once they introduced automobiles, the locomotive and the train got more popular. Airplanes got popular, so on. Guess what? People stopped having horses as individuals. Now, follow me on this, guys. Do horses still exist? Yes, we can all agree horses still exist, right? Who has horses now? Rich people.
Right.
And the people that have horses, they tend to have multiple horses. Mm-hmm. It's very expensive to maintain horses today. Back in the day, people used to have a horse, but every individual, for the most part, had a horse. Just like if you can afford a car, you have your own individual car. Mm-hmm. Now, just follow where the fuck we're going and how it relates to relationships. In the future, women are going to be like horses. In the past, a man came to a certain, or a boy came to a certain age, he learned how to ride horses. Finally, he got a horse of his own. He learned the responsibility of having a horse. Now he has a horse. This kid has a horse, good job. The horse dies or whatever, he gets another horse, and he has that horse until, right? So picture the man as the man, and the horse is the woman. The future that we're heading towards, only wealthy men are going to have horses. Mm-hmm. And they're going to have multiple horses. Multiple. Wow. And it's going to be very expensive to maintain a horse because a horse doesn't work and pay its own bills. Horses don't pay for their own hay. They don't pay for their own horseshoes. They don't pay for their own vet bill, right? Follow me what the fuck I'm saying. Horses don't pay for their own stables. Majority of the jobs that are going to be eliminated by AI, those jobs are held by women today. Mm. So again, follow me. There's going to be a lot less jobs for women in the future. So the only people that are going to be able to afford to maintain the lifestyle of women, you guessed it, are going to be the wealthier men. Right. So what's going to happen is you're going to have men with stables of women in the future. And just like the average person today doesn't have a horse, the average man in the future will not have a woman. Mm. Now, you can believe it or don't believe it, but when this time comes, they're going to be like, damn, that was a hell of an analogy.
That was a hell of an analogy.
Because here goes this rich guy with 7 women living with him, and then the average dude is just putting on a headset, okay, and jerking off to virtual reality.
That's not even sorry.
No, no, it's not even going to be sad. You know why? Because they're going to figure out how to simulate all of those feelings. So when you put that helmet on, you're really going to feel like you're with that woman. When you touch her, you see what I'm trying to say? Yeah. You're really going to feel like you're with a woman.
That shit weird as hell.
And she's always going to say what you wanted to say.
I'll be dead before that happens.
I think so.
It's coming out. Isn't it with the
metaverse and the thing?
I'm gonna die.
No, but I've tried it. I've actually watched with what's it called, man? The thing that you put on.
It's coming, bro.
What's that little goggle thing that you put on? You think you're there. I forgot what it's called. Whatever, that virtual reality. I've watched porn.
What it is it's too expensive to own one now. You can go somewhere where they have it and use it.
I've watched.
But in the future, it's going to come home. Just like the arcade, you have to go to the arcade to play games before. Yeah. Well, now you can have a PlayStation at home.
Well, that's the sad part because I've literally gone to an acquaintance's house and they've had it and they put it on for my boyfriend and I was like, I so want to see what's happening. Listen,
he's cheating on me.
No, not even like that. It was in his own world. No, it was not. But to be fair, I put that shit on, and I'm like, what the flying fuck? The first thing I told my boyfriend, I was like, yo, men are not gonna learn. They're not gonna know how to fuck in years. They're not going to know how to have sex.
They don't know how to do it now.
Because the fact is that you're going to be so strung on what you think you're experiencing and seeing that you're not even going to learn how to connect. Here's the thing. They're not
even going to want real sex.
Exactly.
Look, let me just sum it all up.
Because they don't even want it to work.
Let me just sum it all up. The powers that be, they're trying to make the natural unnatural. Mm-hmm. So anything that's natural, right? They just want to confuse you, right? So let's change this to that. Let's say this is fake. Right. That's basically what it all is. And when you take away nature and you try to change this and change that, it literally screws up the whole equilibrium of the world.
Yeah.
Like sugar's not supposed to be white. It's actually brown.
It
Almost
is.
everything that's natural typically has some sort of hue to it. It's darker.
Artificial.
So that's the mind fuck that they're trying to do. And if you're smart enough to recognize what's going on, then you can kind of fight against it. But trust me, I will not be using no damn virtual reality pussy.
Don't.
No. See that's the thing. You're
Guys,
not. You're not. But that's because you're from a different generation. So that's the thing. The things that seem weird to us, like, for a lady to come over, and we hook up, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna call you an Uber. That's strange to me. But to this generation, that's normal protocol.
It's also strange when you go to like I DJ high school dances and none of the guys dance with the women.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's just it's weird.
It's like
that's what a high school dance was back when I was in high school. The whole point was to dance with the girl.
Yeah,
that was the whole. Yeah, that was
like
the
prom queen and prom king did not like they just went up for that, but then when they come back to the dance floor, they separate. That's how it is now. I swear to you.
Yeah. So you see what I'm saying about they're separating the whole concept of being paired up.
Right.
You have all these women that are putting their friends before the guy that they're with, and now you have the guys with the same mentality. If you're nice to your woman, you're a simp now. And if you want to spend time with your girl, you're a simp now. And it's like the whole point of having a girl is to spend time with them. The whole point of having a guy is to spend time with them. But the women today are putting their friends first. It's like you're not getting it.
Can I interject on that? Mm-hmm. So for me, I'll speak for myself because I don't like speaking for others. But within my relationship, I don't go out. I don't party. If I party and go out, even if I want to go out to the strip club, I'll go with my man. My man is my best friend. I can deal with that because we are together in a way where it's like, it's nothing goes unsaid. We don't have to walk on eggshells around each other. We can be together. I don't necessarily feel the need of having to go out with my friends and party and do the things that they're doing single but wish that they had what I had.
But they won't admit it though.
But they won't admit it.
Yeah.
they may not like clear out, say, hey, you know what, I wish I had what you had, Nyreen, but at the end of the day, what are they going out for?
The grass is greener on the other
so
side.
I am not missing out on a goddamn thing because whatever my friends are doing on a single time is exactly what they wish. Like what I was doing is what they wish that they.
Yo, white girls don't be asking like, "Hey, did your boyfriend have a friend?" Like they don't even ask that no more. That's not even the. It's not even in the discussion.
Wait,
bro.
what kind of question?
Like back in the day, if a chick had a doesn't her friends would be like, "Yo,
does your boyfriend have a friend?"
Exactly,
right? Yeah.
Exactly. It's like it's not even going down. Nobody's coming highly recommended anymore.
No, that's so true. I have not.
Right, it's tough.
Experienced
I think that a lot of women are going into a lot of things for experience. It's kind of like a dopamine hit. Like, let me see what I can get out of this guy or do. But like, I don't want to ask questions. For example, like if you're a female and you're in Miami, we're in Miami, right? And you're in some VIP or you're at some, studio session with Lil Wayne, whoever, right?
Yeah.
If I were a woman, I'd be like, man, like, whose studio is this? Like, okay, I can't get to Lil Wayne, but like, it's like they're just there and there's no, like, they don't capitalize. It's almost like you're around these guys. You obviously can have sex with them, which is easy for women to do, but you can't actually retain any of these guys, but you're always around them. So it's just interesting to me how, just like what he was saying, where like you're around a woman who has a guy, you could ask if he has a brother or someone similar. Like you might even know his brother's like him. Like we could hook them up, and they're not even interested in that. They don't even ask you about it.
What was the first thing I said before? You remember? I was like, oh, I got a friend. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I legit said it.
Yeah,
I was like, she's my best friend.
When she got here, guys, she basically said like, I got a girl that I can bring on.
Right.
And it's like, for women, like they don't even ask that. Like,
yeah, they
has
don't.
A girl ever asked you to hook up with like, or do you have a?
Oh,
do you know
no,
any guys? Did you have brothers or your?
Well, I only get it from guys, and it's like, do you have a girl that I can hook up with? But like, as far as girls, I think it's very bare minimum. If I put the example, because I speak very highly of my boyfriend, then they'll be like, oh, does he have a cousin? but that's just because
I think they're joking around there.
you know,
because these chicks have too much ego nowadays. That's what it is, bro. They try to act like they don't need nothing.
But you know
like
what?
wanting a man is considered a weakness.
Yeah, and
You know
that's
what I mean?
so stupid because if anyone's, I'm sorry, I'm not the type of woman or feminist, and forgive me, but I'm just not the type of person to ever say that I don't need a man. I'm never gonna be that person.
I think that's the thing. These women are so quick to try to convince you,
right? But that's
we don't need men.
Yeah.
If we want them, but we don't need them. It's like no, you need them because the things that you want men for are become a need. They are a need. You see what I'm trying to say? Whereas guys, it's a novelty item. And you want the woman, you desire her. You don't need her.
Think about it, like, what do you do after you're independent? You've worked for your career. You've succeeded at what you've done, and you're at your pinnacle. You're good. You're. What do you then search for? A man. You're gonna want a man regardless of the state.
Well,
in
the
your
problem
life.
is they're not searching for him. They're just they're just doing all these other male.
But
these
the
male
problem
tasks.
is, it's just a little too
Right.
late because then you've
You're
become
living
this
like a man.
alpha male. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You lived your life trying to be a pseudo male.
You become the man you wanted.
Right.
Exactly.
And then you're like, okay, well now I
You the man.
kind of want a man now.
Yeah,
and now,
high five yourself in
Now
the
it's
mirror.
too late because the men aren't
You the man.
checking for you. So yeah, I mean, there is the one thing that guys are gonna always need women for, and that one thing is to make everything that you've worked for in your life, everything that you've gone through, worth it by propagating his genes, by saying, all right, I'm going to give you the opportunity to make a copy of yourself. Now you can have a legacy and you can pass everything that you've earned down to your son. That's the one thing that men need women for, because the more successful a man is, technically speaking, is the more he needs a woman. The better looking you are, the more dominant you are, the more you've accomplished, the more you acquired, is the more you now need a woman of quality to bring you a child, preferably a son, that you can pass all that shit on to now. Because if you're a dude that was uber successful, super handsome, super tall, super everything, it would be a shame and a waste for you to just live and die. Because once you die, it's like you never existed if you don't have children to survive you. It's like you weren't even here. Where's the proof you were
Where's
here?
the proof?
You know what I'm saying? You gonna show me
Absolutely.
Instagram? Look,
Oh my God!
look at this
stop.
dead
That's
man's
scary.
Instagram. Like that's all there is left, right?
We got a quick super chat from Rich. Rich says $1.99 says abundance mindset for most women thanks to Sims.
Yep,
Rich,
that's true. I agree 100% with that one.
Rich, I'm a comment real quick on that though, which I do agree with you, but I do want to say, I was thinking about this. I think about this a lot in the space that we're in, and you got to put yourself in women's shoes sometimes, man. If you could go outside and you could have sex with any woman you ever wanted, right? Like I'm not gonna say every woman can have sex with every guy, but what I'm saying is nowadays they're getting so much attention, man. That abundance mindset is like, just think as a guy, if you could just pick a girl off the street, like women, even though they may not be able to do that, most of them know they could at least with a 90 percentile, rate, have sex with a man. And it's not only that, it's media, it's everything else we're seeing, but I think that you just got to find a way to get an abundance mindset as a man, and that's not just being able to have sex with women. That's becoming successful, getting your shit together. There's a lot of things that go into that, but I just wanted to comment on that. That's a lot. I think that's a big reason why women have the abundance mindset is because everything's so easily accessible now. They can be flown out from here. They can make an OnlyFans to get all this attention. And not only that, they pretty much. I mean, we had girls here yesterday, but my it's still juicy though.
But all of that's coming from a place of ignorance, though.
It is ignorance,
It's
but
coming
it's
from
still
ignorance and confusion because they're confused as to thinking that somehow men and women are on the same playing field, and they're not.
They're not.
Because a guy would never think or feel that way unless he had an abundance of access to attractive women. But in which case it would be real, it would be genuine, and it's genuine because the want is meeting the supply. What he wants is sex with beautiful women. What he has access to and a supply of is beautiful women that would like to have sex with him. So it's all on the up and up. Whereas women, what you have is a desire for commitment from a quality man. What you have is an abundance of attention from
right.
undesirable men, and these women are confusing it. So there's a huge ignorance gap there.
I don't think they're confusing it.
It's a huge ignorance gap, and it blows my mind that people can't recognize this gap, because I recognized it at 16. And I know I recognized it at 16 because my best friend is who pointed it out to me by just making one simple statement. He was trying to holler at some chick, and she was acting all stuck up. And he said, listen, you know what the problem is with you bitches? Mind you, he said this shit in like 98. It was like 98, 99 that he said this. We were in high school. He said, the problem with you bitches is you don't know the difference between sexual attention and when a dude actually likes you. He said, you need to stop measuring your worth in how many niggas want to fuck you and start measuring it in how many dudes want to marry you. And it just made my head pop. I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? But we were always smarter than the average bear, and we were always listening to older people. You know, he was mentored by his grandparents, his older brother. He had an older cousin. And I had my uncles and my cousins and my grandfather. So we weren't getting our information from people our age. Teenagers tend to get advice from other teenagers. So you got the blind leading the blind. Right. So I'm confident that he didn't come up with that. I think his older cousin might have said that. He just repeated it because it was wicked.
Right. Nonetheless, it stuck with him.
Right, and it took the air out of the chick. Right. Because he put it into perspective. He said, you think you the shit because how many dudes want to sleep with you, but you can't name one dude that's proposed to you. And he gave her the game that her father should have gave her. So the biggest issue with these modern chicks is they didn't grow up raised by a father, and even if they did, we're so distant nowadays because there's so many distractions. Families don't eat dinner as a family. Parents don't have a lot of one-on-one time with their kids. So even if you had your father around or in the house, you probably still didn't get the full extent of this information. So the women, nobody ever explained to them how boys operate. So they never understood how to tell the difference between a guy that really likes me and wants to be with me from a guy that's just telling me whatever I want to hear and giving me the attention to get in my pants. And then when the guy does sleep with them, what is the most common thing you hear? Why do guys ghost you? How come you guys just say anything and you just use you for sex and blah, blah, blah? It's like, yo, bro, you failed. It's just like on the basketball court. You got to learn how to play defense, or the other team is going to score.
Here's the problem.
You can't sit there and get mad that the other team crossed you over and faked you out and then made the jump shot. They're supposed to try to fake you out.
Here's the problem. Some women, I'm not going to say all. I try to operate in, some, most, right? I never try to say all. Women, a lot of modern day women are like little kids. You know how I used to play games with little kids, guys? And you say, you can't step on the crack. But then he steps on the crack and then he goes, well, you can step on that crack. Women have this thing of changing the rules, right? When I'm losing, I'm going to move the goalpost and act like I'm not losing. I got 3 baby daddies, so I can still find a man. Everything with women is there's a possibility, right? So, guys, you got to look at women, right? But you got to look at women like, I hate to say this, but like sometimes like they're adolescents in certain ways. Not that they are actually kids, but like their thought process sometimes. I'm losing, so now I'm going to change the rules. And now I'm going to make myself feel better about the poor decisions that I've made. And that's what happens. They can sort of bend reality, make themselves think something, and that is what it is.
And that's what it is. And I agree with that.
And so just like a little kid, playing a game, no, you got to catch the ball like this. Well, no, I can catch the ball like this. That's how they operate, guys. And that's with everything.
Well, without a dad, though, I think the dad is who's supposed to step in and take away the disillusion and take away the excuse making, because it's natural for a kid to try to blame someone else. It's natural for a kid to say, that's not fair, and that's not my fault, and it's because of this and because of that. It's the dad that's supposed to step in and be like, look.
Well, I'm blessed to have a father.
You have to take accountability, right? And you have to move like this and move like that. It's the dad that teaches a daughter that it's a disgrace for her to get pregnant out of wedlock. The mom isn't doing it too. Right? The mother just accepts it and says that it's the guy's fault and blames somebody or points a finger.
Some emotional thing tied to it.
The father's attitude is,
protection.
The guy is not my responsibility. The guy's not my son. So whether or not what he did was wrong is irrelevant. The point is you allowed it to happen, right? I taught you better is going to be the father's stance. Nowadays, the women weren't taught better. So nobody took them out of that childish mind frame is what I'm trying to say. They were allowed to stay in that perpetually and then become adults with that same thought process. Nobody interrupted that thought process. And when you don't interrupt that thought process for guys, a lot of times they either become underachievers that are going to live in their mom's basement, or they end up going to prison. So what happens is the young kid that never left his mom's basement, it's because he wasn't a risk taker. So nobody taught him, hey, you got to start acting and thinking like a man, like a grown man. And you combine that with being afraid to take risk, and you end up just being underdeveloped and live with your parents for too long. Now, if you have that same lack of education, nobody taught me to think, act, and behave like an adult man, and you add the risk taking to that, now you get somebody that's going to end up in jail because they were willing to take a risk, but they didn't have, you get what I'm trying to say, the sensibilities to move accordingly like a grown man. So they end up breaking the rules and ended up in the lockup, right? All right, go home. Go to the next question. I'll be right back.
All right, so I want to ask you another question about this whole passport.
Sorry, do you mind?
What do you want? She wants to re-up?
Same.
What did you get? What did you have?
The fireball.
She likes the fireball.
I am
all right, so
in essence,
I want to go back to the whole passport bros movement because yesterday we asked some girls, what do you think about passport bros? Like, what do you think about this whole group of men? We kind of cut you off actually when you were talking about it, so I want to get your views on it. A lot of girls yesterday were like, I don't give a shit, bye. I don't care about those guys. You're in a relationship,
right?
But I want to know what your take is. Like, let's say you had a son. He's like, Mom, I'm having trouble dating here. You know, I want to move to Thailand, or I want to move to Japan, or I want to move to wherever. Would you tell him to find a girl here? Do you care that there's this movement called Passport Bros? What do you think about it?
Truthfully, I think it's a sad thing that if we're at a point in life where we have to go outside of our own country to find love or deem anything that's relatable to what you want or expect out of a woman or a male. I think that already is like super sad at this point. But if let's just put the hypothetical scenario, right, where if my son were to approach me in that aspect, I think that I would try my best to find some sort of hope, in the sense of maybe you'll find someone here. Maybe if you look in the right places, if you put yourself in the right places, right? Because I think that's another issue too, as far as where people tend to try to find love. I think if you go outside of the box and really put yourself and surround yourself with some educational or purposeful people, you'll find a different kind of value or moral sense into that. But also I wouldn't go against where my son feels as if that person, if he feels as if he needs to go out and experience the world, and he does in that manner find love, I wouldn't be against it.
You wouldn't be against it at all?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that I would, because at the end of the day, who's to say that somebody that's not from this nation is not better for my son? Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense. I think that there's a negative connotation on the whole passport bros movement.
I believe so too. There could be, right, the possibility. And I wanted to touch base on something that we were just discussing. I think women tend to forget that whenever we want a man or we want sex, that's known to us. But
meaning you can get it easily?
Right.
All right. Okay.
Right. Like
just had to
the
clarify.
sex part. Yeah, the sex part, right? If we want sex, that's very much available. But when it comes to the decision of having a relationship, it's the man. It's never the woman.
I like that.
And
she's based, y'all. She knows what she's talking about.
I just think that's really.
So you're light years ahead of a lot of women that we talk to a lot of times, because they would never say that. That's not something that would ever come out of their mouth. It's
very logical.
No, they'd be talking like they control the relationships.
No, absolutely
the relationships. Not. Let me chime in real quick on something you said. You said it's easy for women to have sex. It is, and I think the problem with a lot of women nowadays is they think it's a flex to say that they have a lot of sex.
Yeah,
and it's really not.
Thank you.
Oh, we got the drinks flowing. I always look at it like this: sex is so easy for women. Like, that's like Shaq being able to dunk a basketball, or Michael Phelps swimming. Like, it's not. as
But
we were
with the
saying,
relationship part is Shaq throwing the free throw.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
exactly. I like that.
That's literally
like
what
that.
it is.
And
So
he's liable to miss.
Right.
And that's what we were talking about.
Until he realized that I have to practice these damn free
Right.
throws.
So we live in a time where I think women are just like, there's even lyrics by like Cardi B, like she has the lyrics like, that's why I effed on your dude, and I'm like, that's not.
Or I don't cook, I don't
flex
clean. But
right,
that's
like
why
it's
I got this ring.
and she cooks and cleans for Offset.
Of course she does.
So that's
She's
what's funny.
Hispanic to begin with.
You know what?
That's
You know what
you're
I
trying
wish,
to
and this would
do.
never happen. If you're gonna put out toxic music like that, I wish every artist like that had to do a disclaimer. They had to bring a camera on them just like this. Hey guys, what I'm saying is not true. Do not like. I wish every one of those idiots had to do that.
Yeah,
you want to
but
put
then
out that
let it
bullshit
be.
music, and everyone wants to turn up to that in the club or whatever.
Hell no.
Like it is what it is.
But then they're
They
But
don't
you're
wanna put out
never
that
gonna
music.
hear them like at least one time say, "This is all for entertainment."
They don't make. They don't decide
they
the
don't
material.
even
The
write the
label.
lyrics too.
Right,
so
and the
they
it's-
do.
labels are
They-
owned
they
by the
do.
people who are
Right.
at the top, which we were already talking
Well,
about.
the labels are owned by the same people that own the prisons.
Well,
so they're creating their own clientele.
Right, but they're all at the top. These are all the people that
Yeah.
people who there's private investors in prisons you would never think have money in
You have
prisons.
to.
I was telling him.
I'm gonna let you close out.
I was telling him.
What'd you
'cause
say?
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
let you close out.
Oh, you about to dip?
Yeah.
Okay,
You
cool.
guys got it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna tell her to come up, but she's.
Okay.
I don't know. She looks
Aw.
immaculate,
Alright,
but she
John.
doesn't want to come up. So I don't know what that's about.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, well, I
Take
end
this.
these pen out, y'all. We'll finish up in a little
Y'all can
bit.
move her a little bit here.
Yeah, we'll slide over.
I'm gonna see you guys. What on Monday?
Monday, guys, we have another show. We're gonna
Tune
have
in,
a
guys.
ton of girls.
Yeah, but he still has like about 7 questions to ask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's
so
cool.
that's-
I got this.
All right, y'all.
It
all
was-
right, peace, bro.
Oh, I need the other. That one.
This one.
I'll
This
talk
one.
to you on the flip side.
If you need it, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me. Send it to me. Scooch over a little bit more.
Oh,
One
I'm
more.
sorry.
All right, now we're good. We're good. All right.
Right there. We're good.
Yes, sir. Who's this? Friend at work got took for 500K. Let me see. Yeah, bro. Guys, try to keep the chat a little bit PG if you can with the cursing. But I see you, Rock Bottom. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. So you know, basically, sex is easy. It's not
Right.
something that women should be boasting about. So
I agree.
so overall, what is your take? So you said you wouldn't care if your son did it or not.
Mhm.
What is your take on just the passport, bro? Does it really? It's like, do your thing, guys. Do you care? Is it not really anything you're concerned about?
What I say, I'm concerned with it.
You have a boyfriend, so you probably don't even care.
I mean, no, I don't. But I do care for future, like, you know, for my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, like even with the OnlyFans, I think that's a setup failure for our future generation, for our women. That's my personal opinion. No shade to anyone that does it, because kudos to you if you're making that money, honey. But I just don't think it's a good thing for our future. So even though I'm in a relationship, I may not care, but at the end of the day, I do care because it has some sort of effect, right? Long term. And would I say that it's a problem? No, I'm not gonna say it is. I'm not gonna say it is,
Okay,
because
that's good.
it's fair to say that men deserve to experience something outside of what they already know. And it's unfortunate that what we already know, it's becoming so common and so kind of like repetitive that it's becoming boring at this point, if that makes any sense.
Okay. So let's get a little bit more personal with you.
Okay.
Do you want to get? Actually, let's ask another foreign question. Would you ever marry a guy to get him his papers? Because there's a lot of women who I don't know if did that make you cough?
A little bit.
There's a lot of girls that I know that are here in Miami. Guys, just in case you didn't notice, Miami, we have a lot of Cubans here. We have a lot of people who travel here, and this is like the hot spot that everybody wants to come to. Obviously,
The main.
we're here, so
Besides Texas, yeah, I believe, right?
right. So I see a lot of girls,
Mary.
especially here, marry guys for papers. So it's not really a passport bros thing, but it's still kind of, they're trying to come here. We're trying to leave. They're trying to come here. So would you ever marry a guy? Like, let's say this didn't work out and he would pay you like 15K.
No.
Would you do it?
No.
20K?
No.
30K?
No.
50,000?
No.
There's no amount of money?
No.
Really?
Really.
Why?
Because I'm not going to be attracted to this person. I'm going to have to go through legal experiences, and I'm going to have to lie for a person that I don't care for.
Okay.
And I'm not going to go through that battle because you want to come to this country.
Okay.
And fair enough, I do understand, and I'm very sympathetic with the situation. I'm just not, there's no amount of money that you're going to, like, I want to have sex too. I'm not going to have sex with the person that I'm just bringing to the country and doing a favor for. Does that make sense?
Right.
Unless there's some sort of connection. If there's some sort of connection and it does lead to some sort of love, well, then that's a different story. But if it's not, then no.
Okay. Okay.
So no, I wouldn't marry.
Okay. That's fair enough. So let me ask one more question. Kind of leading into...
And I'm sorry if I'm like not the same as what you normally get. But
No. That's good. Guys, we want to have different women on the show. All right. We don't want, because yesterday was a shit show. It was like some girls agreed, some girls didn't. But when women get together, they tend to, the more aggressive girls, they'll just like kind of not say anything because they don't want the girls to say anything about, to them, to change their opinion. So I think other girls had a lot of opinions, but there was like two girls, they were the only two talking the whole time. So we're going to get you, I don't know if we have any passport bros in the chat. If you're a passport bro, guys, give me a thumbs up in the chat if you identify with passport bros. I jokingly say I'm a passport bro, but I'm just the guy that has a passport. That's how I like to say it. I don't like to, call myself a passport bro, but I do have certain videos up about passport bros. Also, guys, youtube.com/@Mentuition. That's going to be the main channel. We're on Allende's channel now, but we're going to be filtering over all the content there very soon. So make sure you guys just type in Mentuition on YouTube and you'll see all the content that we have up so far. We'll be posting more on there. So there's this thing where guys are going to countries, the passport bros, and then they're saying, don't bring the women back. So if you go to Colombia, you go to wherever, don't stay there, because if you bring them back, women in the United States will taint them. They will change the way they view the world.
The world,
right? So fun fact, guys, I work at Booby Trap. I work in the strip club here in Miami. Yeah. And there's a lot of girls that come there, and their first day at Booby Trap, right? They're all timid, they don't want to dance on the pole. They're all like chilling. About 3 weeks in, like Peaches to the stage. She's looking at you like she's literally like, and I'm like, damn, they done got Peaches. Peaches was good. And now Peaches is just a raging bitch.
Peaches on demon time.
Yeah, Peaches is so the question is, what is your view on that? Do you think if you brought a traditional woman back to the United States from whatever country, that maybe it would taint her? Or do you think she would be just fine?
It depends on how strong she stands on her morals and values.
Okay.
So for instance, there's many times, and I'll put this as an example, right? Me being in a relationship, many of my friends will be like, hey, they'll use the guilt trip of why aren't you going out? You need to spend time with me as my friend. Da, 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 da. I don't necessarily need to go to those settings to be with you. You can come to my house. I can go to yours. We can go to the movies. We can do other things that I don't prefer or don't see any enjoyment in, nor do I find myself necessary for the crowd because I'm not single. Really, if I go out with my friends, what is that to do? That part, where they pick up people. Now back to what you're saying. I think it really does stand within their morals, but will it taint them? I think anybody's gonna want to get a taste of temptation and the non-good things for you. Okay,
all right. So that's we agree, because I would say the same thing. Yeah. I mean, I think even
at least if they try it.
Even if she was inside and maybe she didn't go out that much, there's still gonna be that. Just going to the grocery store, she could just go somewhere and see something like, damn, she got that. Or damn, he look like that. Like it's gonna be like, damn, I
It's
can
an
have
instant
that.
changer and just go home and
Right.
then like, oh, let me try to figure that out.
So one thing I want to tell you guys is that with the whole passport bros thing, guys, you know, this is gonna sound really fucked up, but it's actually okay that when you do go over to meet these women, that they are poor and they've never been to the United States. I know that sounds messed up, but it's like a woman that may not have experienced so much or get to experience that, she's not gonna be as tainted by the culture.
Right.
And if you already have money, if she's poor, then it doesn't matter. She comes on to you and you guys become a family and it's good. So I don't want to go to Medellin or wherever and meet some rich chick who's traveled the world. I could do that here in the United States.
Right.
And a lot of women will say, oh, you're trying to get one that you can control and blah, blah, blah. But controlling can be used as good or bad. I always look at like anything could be used. You could take that
Moderation.
cup. Right. You can take that cup and just drink out of it. You can't hit me with it. Right. Like anything can be negative and anything can be positive. So the word controlling, guys, when women use these buzzwords, it's not, it doesn't have to be bad all the time.
It doesn't.
In your situation with your marriage, what he was doing was bad. He was manipulating in a bad way, controlling in a bad way. But you can control a woman in a good way.
In a good way.
So I would say,
Absolutely.
you know, if you're going over there to meet a woman who doesn't come from anything, good.
And
awesome.
And to be fair, right? Like the word controlling, it could be a little sensitive for most ears, but it's not even the controlling part. It's just the women being able to receive that, like, hey babe, I don't want you going to that concert. Hey babe,
right,
I don't want you going to that club tonight. And you being able to be like, I understand, babe.
Right. And she listens.
Listens.
Right.
Respects.
Right.
And that's really a big part of you know, the word submission, right? But there's so much negative connotation to that too, and it's like, it's not really that you're being submissive, is that you're being respectful. And you're putting your man, I don't know, but back in the days, I feel, because again, like, I may look young, but I'm 31, and for me, like, there's nothing more that I want in a man than a man. I don't want to be the man. Right. I don't want that responsibility, or I want to be able to feel myself in my femininity and feel okay with that, not having to feel like I need to step in for that. Right. And I think that a lot of women love that flip up right now, which is not, I don't think that's beneficial to anyone. I think, then again, you tell me, maybe there's some men that find it enjoyable, or they like a woman to tell them what to do, or to be the man of the house, or woman of the house, and however you put it.
The way I see it is, someone's got to wear the pants. It's either the man or the woman. If the woman's wearing the pants, then the guy's acting more like in the feminine role. Right. And if the man's wearing the pants, which I think it should be, then the woman's in her feminine role. But I think many women nowadays, it's all,
who wanted that role? Like, I don't know what woman decided to be like, hey, I just want to be the shit.
Unattractive women, or I don't know. That
doesn't make sense to me. Sorry. I apologize for anyone. Like, sincerely, this is just who I am as an individual.
Yeah, I really couldn't tell you who decided that, but what I will say is that everything's in relationships are all effed up right now. That's why this whole passport bro thing exists. And I'm all for it. I mean, I don't necessarily like the name passport bros, but I think any guys, if you're in the chat, and you know, you should always expand your options. Whatever you can do, if you feel like you got to go out of the country to meet women,
absolutely.
You know, and even hook up with women, whatever you want to do, you know, do what you got to do, but you know,
get to know women on a mental level.
Yeah, and be safe, guys. I mean, you should be going there, and when you go to these countries, I'm gonna be posting some exclusive content on the Mentuition channel, guys, in Cartagena and Medellin. We're gonna go to Philippines, so we're gonna just post just walking around, where to go, where to party, all that kind of stuff. So guys, stay tuned for that too. That's cool. Also, guys, if you have any super chats, any questions, let us know. So we'll do a couple more questions, and then we'll wrap it up. Cool. So, what is the one thing that you've wanted from a man but you never received? Because you already received marriage. Is there anything that you can think of, like, you know what, I always wanted a guy to give me that or do this for me, but I've never had a guy do that yet?
This question, I don't know why it's making me sentimental, but I want children.
Children. Okay, I was gonna ask you if you had kids, but I didn't want to, induce what you were thinking in your head.
No, it's cool.
So
It's cool.
okay.
I was sentimental just because I feel like I have that now, and I'm very grateful for it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
How many kids do you want?
As many as God blesses me with.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Boy, girl, do you have any, like, is there any preference?
I prefer boy.
Boys?
But
okay.
with this
one boy.
No, boys.
Okay.
Boys for sure. But with this red hair, I would love a little redhead girl for sure.
Okay.
Just to
Yeah,
have
I think
that.
you guys can see in the camera, she's a redhead, but yeah.
Ginger, yeah.
So, okay, so that's good. I mean, kids,
want
we usually
kids.
get marriage or kids from most women, but
And you're saying, like, in another sense, if that okay, fair enough.
if you have one, give me one more, because those are the top
sure.
two. Is there anything else you can think of?
Great sex, like
Great
consistent chemistry, like sexual chemistry. That
Okay.
I would say
Sexual chemistry. All right.
consistent, like meaning.
Well, what is the difference between great sex and sexual chemistry? Is there a difference
Okay,
between
yes,
the two?
absolutely. Because
Enlighten us.
You can have great sex at a certain point, and you can. My hair's everywhere.
Awesome.
I've shed it everywhere. You can have great sex, maybe because the night was young and you had some liquor in you and you just had some good sex, but that doesn't mean that you're always gonna be, let's say, sober and then be with that person and have sex with them and feel the same type of like euphoria. You're not. You may not, is what I'm saying. So I think there's a difference when you have sexual chemistry with that person. You know that you're gonna climax to your ultimate level. You can be yourself. You can you don't have to feel like you have to be in your head about things. You can just legit let go and just, it's just kind of soul to soul type of situation. It's a very, I find sex to be, even if you want to do it nasty and you want to do the dirty, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to bring in some bondage into it, however you want to, how freaky you want to get,
Hey,
it
so you
doesn't
on
matter.
that freaky stuff.
But I feel like that's a spiritual, it's a spiritual act when you have.
You know what
that.
I always wanted? I know this
A
gonna sound.
threesome?
I've had a threesome.
Me too.
But I've always wanted one of them vibrator remote control ones.
Oh, with the panties?
Yeah.
I
Did he
have
buy
it.
it? See.
Yeah. See?
You're cool. Like, you'd be, see, a lot of girls I'd be like, come on,
No,
like,
that is so fucking
ladies,
fine.
let me say something,
Bro,
ladies, we are freaks, all right?
Excuse.
Give your man a threesome, okay?
No,
Like,
yeah, that.
wait, was this isn't with your current, was this with a,
So this isn't with my current boyfriend. He's.
okay.
So now we're like, not now, it's just, it's been a conversation. It's not something that we're like, oh my God, we need or want or whatever. If it happens kind of thing.
Okay.
But
Just
I have
surprise him one day. He just comes home. He don't even know how to know the girl's name. You be like, I'm not telling you her name. Like, what trips me out about women is like, we are nasty. Guys are nasty. I'm just gonna say it.
Right.
We're freaky.
But women are just as nasty. They just don't.
But what you could do, just so he never texts the bitch again, is just be like, you know what? He's just gonna come home. There's gonna be some girl in it.
There's levels to this shit. Like, I've had a threesome twice with my ex-husband. Believe it or not, with the nigga that, with the man that didn't. I'm sorry, it's Miami talk, but it's for the man that didn't deserve it. I did it for. And I actually experienced my first threesome with my first boyfriend. Of 3 years. So it's not like, this is something that I enjoy. I genuinely enjoy my man. Just seeing my man being pleased.
Music to my ears, guys.
I enjoy the feminine, sensual part of a woman.
Right.
I don't consider myself bisexual or gay. I know most people are gonna be like, well, if you like, hooking up with a girl,
right,
you must be gay or bisexual. No, that doesn't mean that. I just like to, I embrace a woman's beauty, in other words.
Right.
But yeah, a threesome, there has to be conditions and respect to that. if you don't have someone that's loyal or even emotionally mature enough, then I wouldn't suggest it. Please don't do it.
Ladies, when in doubt, treat your man to a threesome, damn it.
But
Okay?
it's not
Give me just a little
harmful.
treat, little-
It's definitely fun.
That's good. That's good.
And you know what? I'll give you this. It definitely brings, it opens up a door where you're no longer, your man is no longer on like this, you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
he'll open up to you
You're
in a way where it's like, oh babe, you know, today, you know, I saw this girl and she was hitting on me, and you know, but I didn't. But he'll talk to you about it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No,
It's because
yeah.
they feel that
Right.
presence of maturity within yourself
Right.
too, and it's like, okay, we can have this conversation without me blowing up and be like, where'd you find the girl? You know, like,
right.
So it's different.
All right, so we're gonna stay on that path for just a moment, and then guys, if you have any closing questions for us, let us know. But yeah, and like I said, if there's you know, this is sort of a Passport Bros stream. I don't know why that camera keeps going over there. Very odd. Guys, that's our other wall that you keep seeing over there with the Joker and Harley Quinn, I think, and the cute little dog. I don't know why it's doing that, but anyway, that's our other side, guys. We're gonna do a big stream next Monday, and Tuesday we'll have a bunch of girls. So you'll see a full house, full 2 couches on both sides. We'll show you guys the studio here now. So, okay, staying on the sexual stuff.
Yes. My favorite, because if they only knew that that's so important, especially long term, and if you're looking for marriage, please don't ever think that sex is not important. If you do not have sexual chemistry with that person and you're thinking about being with this person long term, reconsider that.
So what? So where is the craziest place you've had sex? Because if you're telling me you got the vibrators and you got all this going on, I'm thinking in my head like she must have done some crazy stuff somewhere.
So I don't know what you find crazy, but for me, the craziest sex experience I guess I had in like a place was in a car. It was in a Subaru.
A Subi. Okay.
Yeah, and it was stick shift, and I decided to just like jump on while he was stick driving.
Oh shit!
And that's
the double stick shift. Yeah. Well, first I thought she was gonna say she jumped on the handle of the stick shift.
No,
I was like, damn,
come on
what
now.
the hell is going on? Just like he's driving it, you're like, I'm like, whoa.
No. He was driving. He was doing the stick shifts thing, and I was on top doing my thing.
Fellas, use the car. The car
going like 100 miles per hour. That was so dangerous. So
yeah, nah. See,
just
you
gotta. Careful.
I'm gonna tell you guys this. There's a lot of like stupid people here in Miami that drive crazy fast.
Absolutely.
A lot of deaths on the highways,
especially
down here.
After hours.
And you gotta drive. I always say this, guys. You gotta drive a road speed. A road head speed. Okay, so that's when you're on a highway. Road head speed though, because that's not 100. You can't get ahead at 100 miles an hour. Guys, I'm telling you, do like a smooth 55. And then you just look at her and like, you know what I'm saying?
Good point.
Start messing with her. You start messing with her titties a little bit. You know, this is usually like on a night where you guys come home from somewhere.
Right. That's how we did
and
it.
Then
we came home from somewhere.
Yeah, I've gotten some, I wouldn't say high speed, but mid speed blowjobs is pretty good.
I don't know why the high speed.
I guess. Like guys, like my personal thing, guys, is like I don't need to speed in a car with a girl to impress her. I'm usually like touching her. I'm usually trying to like talk to her, make her laugh, or do some freaky shit. I'm not worried about like there's these guys down here that have this and the girl's like, oh, I love this. I've never been that guy.
To be fair, that wasn't like a hookup or anything. That was like my first boyfriend.
That was your first boyfriend? Yeah. Okay.
So
all right, so
if you were to ask me in a hookup question, that would be different.
It's in a Subaru while he's driving a stick shift, you're on his and he's like looking around you. I guess
he would have to be, and he was on the stick shift.
Shout out to you,
doing
brother.
The thing.
All right,
shut up.
We'll do another sexual question. We'll do like one more. We'll close out. So, what is your favorite sexual position and why?
Reverse cowgirl.
We got one of those yesterday.
And
why though? That's when your ass is faced towards his face. And then
I feel because I touch a specific spot for myself.
Okay. So it's about you.
But also
Partly.
because it's like I know it's just as sexy for him.
Right. Right.
Visual.
Yeah.
Wise.
Yeah. We are visual. Lights on or lights off?
On.
Okay. Yes.
On.
You're the best. Oh man. Man. God. This is the greatest. Like you're the greatest guest we've had so far.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Thank you.
Shit.
I
Or this is the
appreciate
greatest like
that.
one-on-one we've had. We've done some one-on-ones, and the girls are great, but like they're always like, I don't know if she's telling the truth or not.
Right.
But
the
you're cool with the
honesty.
sexual.
No,
yeah,
I'm
the sexual
good with
questions.
answering questions. I'm good.
On is better for us guys, or at least for me. For me, I'm not gonna speak for all guys, but I like to see what's.
Believe
But
it
like
or
the
not-
guys, the room could literally be this bright. Y'all see how bright it is
Yeah.
out this month?
Yeah.
Right here on the floor. That's what I'm like. We're going right here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And believe it or not, girls, when you feel the most insecure, that's when your man finds you the most sexy. So turn them lights on, girl.
Big facts. Turn them on, man. Well,
They
I
love
gotta
what they
see
see. I'll tell you.
I gotta see what I'm doing. I
Right.
can't- Like it's you know what
And
it
the
is.
facial expressions.
You know
like,
what it is?
everything.
You remember when you were a little kid and you used to go in a dark room and it was fun and you like undercovers? It's like when it's too dark, it's like this isn't like that's fun when you were a kid, but it's like
you're more inclined into imagining someone else or
Right.
something else, I feel, in the dark than what you're actually present for. Does that make sense?
yeah, exactly.
That's what I think.
You're right. No, you're right. It's just kind of
It could be a thin line between that where your lights are off and your man might be thinking about some other
like this.
situation.
put it like this: if the lights are off, you gotta have one little night light on. Like I gotta see something.
Right.
If it's pitch black, I'm pissed.
Yeah. No, it's
I'm not
fun.
even. It's not even fun.
I agree.
It could be anybody. Like it could be a fat girl, and I don't know who's in the bed now. Like it's weird. You know what I'm saying? Like no, seriously. Like,
I love that.
like,
I
I'm
don't
just
know who's
feel-
in the bed right now.
it's like like a braille. Like it's like you're just feeling around like a blind person trying to read something. I can't do it. I can't do it.
That was good. I like that.
All right. So
More sex questions. 'cause
more
that's
sex
all I
questions.
answer.
All right, we got one more sex question. What is the shortest time
Oh my god, what are you gonna ask me?
you've climaxed and the shortest time you made a guy climax? So if you could quantify, if you could say, like, if you don't know the minutes, but you could say like super fast, like it took a while, like 20, 30 minutes, or what would be like the shortest time a guy's made you like hit that spot? And was it through like
Right, because there's the difference.
right?
Yeah. Damn. All right, I'll be fair. So the most impressive was my first boyfriend that asked me, have you ever climaxed? Like, have you ever had an orgasm? And I was like, yeah, but not through sex.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I got you.
Oh shit.
I didn't believe him.
Oh shit.
And
He know what he was doing.
indeed, the man succeeded.
Okay.
At a minimum, I would say probably less than 5 minutes.
Nice.
And what was the next question?
The shortest time you made him.
Okay. So
It's usually
embarrassing
quick for us.
for this guy, particularly. He put on a condom, and as soon as he stuck it in, he told me that's it.
Damn. Rapid fire. Jesus Christ, bro.
That was the shortest amount of
That
time
happened to me
I've
when I
ever
was young. Was he older guy or was this
had.
like
He was
young?
older.
That's crazy. He must have been super.
But
super
okay,
horny.
to be fair, I have a petite frame also. And I'm. Can I say that? Can I be very like?
Tell me what is it? Yeah, you know you could say that.
Okay, so I am very tight cervixed. I guess you can say.
Petite girls typically that is like a thing with women who are petite. They have
Right,
tight
I
cervix.
feel right.
Yeah.
There has to be, but I just experienced that where a lot, even within my relationship, like it sucks, but it'll be fast because I'm extra tight. I've even as my husband actually used to say, when I would get on top, he'd be like, "Oh, it hurts. You're too tight."
It hurts. It's too tight.
Please tell me, is that a thing? Because I
I've
felt
never had
so
that.
self-conscious about my thing
never
being too
once.
tight, and I was
never
like,
once.
so who complains about a pussy being tight?
Nah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, nah.
Excuse.
You want it. That's what you want. Now,
Right?
I complain about dryness.
Oh,
If it's
no.
dry,
Right.
that's a problem. If it's too loose, I've had that problem a few
Oof.
times.
I don't even know what that would feel like. Nothing,
You
right?
you don't feel anything.
Oh,
You don't feel anything. Like
Terrible.
real shit. but never too tight. No, but girls that have smaller
So I
frames.
have that issue where men do I have had that experience where men come faster because
So let me ask you, actually, staying on sex work, we're gonna go to the passport, bro. Back to that. So there are a lot of guys who go to these countries. They're claiming that they're going to meet work. Okay, we can't say the word pros, but we'll say pros or working women. So they're going there. They're hooking up with these girls. They're paying smaller denominations of money. Like that same girl here in Miami would be 500.
Right.
But you go to Cartagena, and she's like, $30, $50. So not only are you taking that flight there or whatever it might be, but you're indulging in these women. So what's your take on sex working women, specifically girls who work out on the streets or even strip clubs in this country, but also in other countries, and maybe guys who deal with those girls? Like, what if your husband? Well, we won't go to him going to strip club yet. Let's stay at. What do you think about that? Boyfriend, yeah.
If he goes to strip club?
Well, no, start first with guys that are traveling to meet sex working women, and then what do you think of sex working women in general?
Well, first off, if you're traveling to meet sex working women, I don't see the point in that. We have it right here.
Cheaper. That's probably why. But yeah, you're right.
We just technically do.
Mm-hmm.
But for them to do that, you have to be on a level of success maybe where you don't even have time to have commitment.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll pay for that attention. I don't know. I think that can go both ways, where it's acceptable and it's not acceptable. I don't agree with women that feel like they need to do that because it's just easier money or just the lavish style. I think that you should have more respect for yourself of overall. Especially if you feel like you're like a mom figure or like you want to be a mom one day. I don't really necessarily nothing against strippers, guys. I love going to the strip club. I will tip you. I love it.
Strip club. I work in a strip club.
Yeah, right. Like I go with my man and I just pick girls out and I'm like,
I will say that this is not a proven stat, but I'd say at least more than half, 60 to 70% of the strippers, they have kids.
Oh, they have no,
they're
that's
moms.
For sure. Yeah, they're moms, and that's what they're working for, and I get it, and I get that. But
even over in all these places, guys, where these guys are going, guys, a lot of those sex working women, they have 2 and 3 kids.
But can we agree also that the culture has made it more acceptable as it being more of like a job?
Yes. Right? I mean, in those other countries, it's definitely like it's legal there, but also yes, we've made
so
it.
In Dubai, for instance, there's women. So I actually saw a podcast. Can we mention people or no? Let's not.
Yeah, let's. Right. Yeah, we'll
so
keep
I saw a
people
podcast and actually they were discussing how they went to visit Dubai. We're talking about earlier. They went to visit Dubai and they were with a particular person. I guess they went to meet and they were like, I kid you not, this entire restaurant was full of women that were just meant to like be for there for, okay, you're single, you're by yourself, I'm gonna go talk to you. And listen, if that's what you feel like you need,
they were sex working women,
right? Okay, they were sex working women,
escorts,
all of them, like to the point where they took all those women back to the hotel and partied, and they didn't know one woman there, but they knew that that's what they were meant for. What's my take on that? I think that that's a very sad situation where I feel like, within this feminist act of women saying I can do what I want and this, that, and the third, and it's my body.
So it's sad for the women, not the men.
You're talking about? No, it's sad for the men.
Okay.
It's very particularly sad for the men because what do you do with that?
Right.
Like what? How do you work with that? Like, do you accept that? You can't. It's hard. Okay. And men that do accept that are they're just benefiting, whether financially and still doing their shit on the side. Let's be real. Because they're not taking their woman seriously. It's not like they're gonna be loyal to them. So I don't think I think it's a fair fight. I think if you're gonna be in that field, then expect your man to not be loyal to you. It's just simple as that. And I don't necessarily agree with it. I wish women would see more of themselves at a higher standard. Versus like I prefer women to be a CEO and bossing men around versus like being
Right.
putting themselves out there, I guess.
Makes sense. Okay, well, guys, we're gonna wrap up here.
I really enjoyed this.
And
by
yeah,
the way.
you did a great job, phenomenal job. We appreciate you guys. Guys, stay tuned. Next week on Monday and Tuesday, we're going live around 8 p.m. Again, follow the channel, youtube.com/@mentuition. We'll be posting some clips up this week and next week until the live. And did you have any final questions for me? Anything you want to say to the people out there before we go?
I just want to say that overall, anything that I've said it was not meant to offend anyone. It was my opinion.
You didn't offend nobody.
But on a note, as far as this podcast, I have to say that it brings a lot of awareness, and I love the topics, and just follow and subscribe and keep following up, and I hope to be back.
All right, thank you guys. All right, guys, class
Dismissed.
is officially dismissed. We'll catch you guys next week. Again, guys, make sure you catch us in the next one. We'll be back on Monday. All right, guys. Peace.